right. Well, we have had a pretty rainy day throughout the state of South Carolina today. In fact, rainfall has ended for now, but it will be returning again tonight going into tomorrow. We also will be talking about another frontal system that will be trying to move through as we go through later this week. And then also cooler temperatures on the way. Not only not only just cooler just for like a short period of time, but potentially for a good amount of time. All of that we will be talking about as we go into tonight. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. Starting off, let's see what's going on throughout the entire United States. And starting off just on a statewide basis, looking at South Carolina, we're looking at nice dry conditions. Not a single drop of rain going on throughout the state right now. If we go on and push this radar forward, you see nothing. If we go on and look at the winter weather, though, see what's going on, if we go on and scroll our way out and zoom and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do, in fact, have some activity going on. You see some rainfall going on over here inside of New York, going on in Vermont, up here inside of Connecticut. And then as you move over into the south central, the southeast, we're looking at some more rainfall, but this time this could bring some severe weather. We're talking about severe weather over inside of Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, with some tornado warnings going on over there as well. So if you know anybody in those areas, make sure that they are all right. And then as you look on over into Iowa, the Dakotas, Nebraska, and just the entire West in general, we're seeing rainfall throughout a lot of these regions. Now, if we go on and look at our cloud cover right now as we push our way forward into tonight, currently we're looking pretty cloudy right now. It was just outside a couple of minutes ago, and it was completely cloudy. Moon was kind of fuzzy, obviously, due to all that cloud cover, so it is a cloudy night tonight. And if we look at this cloud cover for the future, we go ahead and push this forward. And what do you see? Cloud cover that continues all the way into tomorrow morning. So we will not get rid of this cloud cover until potentially later into tomorrow afternoon. We get to around Wednesday at around 6 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock p.m., going to near around 7 o'clock p.m., 8 o'clock. And we do have some clear spots definitely moving on throughout the state. But as we continue on through into Wednesday night, going into Thursday morning, we're starting to talk about more cloud cover going throughout the state once again. For our current temperatures now, we're talking about 68 in Somerville, 67, Charleston, 69 in Hilton Head Island. And, this goes on for pretty much a good amount of the state where we're talking about 60s, rather it be from low 60s to high 60s, 65 in Conway, 64 North Myrtle Beach, 66 in Florence, Columbia, 62, Newberry, 63. Greenwood, 62, Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, 60, Rock Hill. Air quality wise, we are looking pretty good. We do not have a single risk of any sort of air quality, so it looks like that we are in the clear, and hopefully this will continue into tomorrow. Low temperatures for tonight, we're talking about some 50s, but also mainly just 60s coming around, from 61 to Greenville to 59, Rock Hill, 62, Columbia, 62, Orangeburg, 60, Moncks Corner, 65, Charleston, 63, Myrtle Beach, 68, Hilton Head Island, and 61 in Aiken. Then for high temperatures for tomorrow, 80, Greenville, 81, Anderson, 83, Columbia, 82, Sumter, 85, Walterboro, 80 in Charleston, Georgetown, 76, Myrtle Beach, 81 in Florence, 82, Hilton Head Island. Now, what about for our rainfall? If you go on and look at these totals as we go throughout the next 24 hours or so, we're talking about around a good tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for areas like Greenville, over in the Spartanburg to Rock Hill, Lawrence, Anderson, Cheraw. And then even inside of Georgetown, we're talking about around a good tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. Myrtle Beach, a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. And maybe even just a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch in Hilton Head Island. Now, we'll look at the models, see what the models have to say, see if the models even agree with what the National Weather Service is saying. Tonight, thunderstorms are indeed possible. It really just determines on the convection, because obviously right now there's no convection, and I do believe the reason why they have this is really just because of the ingredients being here. Also, this was updated a little while ago. So thunderstorms, even though they technically are possible, the ingredients are there. It's just not really, the convection is not really there for this to really pop off. And then as we go into Wednesday, April the 29th, we have a marginal risk of severe weather. You see Rock Hill, Florence. These areas have to watch out for some severe weather tomorrow. The threat for this, honestly, it does look like that we will see not only a threat of isolated damaging wind gust, but also maybe an isolated tornado. Maybe an isolated tornado. I mean, we're talking about a 2% chance of tornadoes here. I know that doesn't seem like that's that much, but any threat, any risk of severe weather over here at the SC Weather Channel, we will always take seriously. We will always take seriously, because there have been times where marginal risk of severe weather has caused damage. There's been times where even if it was like a 1%, even though that's not even possible, a 1% to where things may have hit the fan, even if it's just inside the light green. I mean, we have severe thunderstorm warnings all the time in the light green areas where it does cause damage. So that's why every risk here on this channel we will always be taking seriously. And then once we move into Thursday, April the 30th, not too much of a thunderstorm risk anymore, really just down there in the southern parts of the state. Fire weather is not expected for now. Obviously, we still have that statewide burn ban in effect, so still make sure that you are not burning anything, as obviously it is illegal to do so. Now, we do have some good news for when it does come to the burn ban at this point. But if you go in and look at the map here, at this point, everybody is still under that burn ban. But if we go in and look at this map, they did make an announcement. The South Carolina Forestry Commission is going to lift the burning ban for 12 upstate counties Wednesday. That is for, again, 12 upstate counties. That's from Greenville, Spartanburg, Cherokee, York, Chester, Union, Lawrence, Greenville, Pickens, Anderson, Abbeville, Greenwood, and Oconee counties. Those areas will be lifted off of the burn ban. Everybody else from Newberry, Fairfield, Lancaster, McCormick, Edgefield, all the way down towards the coastal areas will still have to watch out for this burn ban here. So we're not done with it in the red. In the green, you will be done tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can officially start burning again if you want to. Now, if we go on and look at excessive rainfall, that's not expected either. So we look like that we are in the clear here. Now for the crazy score. For tonight, obviously, it is going to be a bit more of a more active night, even though cloud cover, that's going to be moving through, that's going to up it. We also still technically have a chance of some light rainfall activity, even though right now it is not looking too bad right now, not looking too widespread, which is good, but that chance of light rainfall is still there. So we're going to continue to watch for it, continue to monitor it as we go into the models into like the next couple of minutes. But it doesn't look too bad right now, and so that's why we're only at a 38. Moderate rain, wind, minor storms. So let's go and look at the models here. We're starting off here at around 9 o'clock p.m. And as we go in and push this forward all the way through into tonight, there goes that light shower activity potentially near the South Carolina-Georgia border as we get into late tonight, going into tomorrow morning. Look at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, going over near to around 7 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about rainfall activity now moderate, moving from the Georgia state line all the way into the more further upstate. And not only that, but we may even see some morning convection inside of the low country as well as we get to around 7 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. You go all the way to around 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning now, going into 11 a.m. We still have rainfall activity that's continuing to move east throughout the state, and rainfall will definitely be expected tomorrow morning. So rather if you have to drop kids off to school, or rather if you have to drive to go to work, or if you have to drive to go somewhere that you've been planning for a month now at this point tomorrow morning, there will be rainfall accompanied with your morning activities tomorrow. Now, by the time you get to around 12 o'clock p.m., going into 2 o'clock p.m., rainfall definitely does thin out a lot, which is good. pretty good. And then as we continue throughout the rest of the day, it's really only just some rainfall activity here and there. I mean, here's around 6 o'clock p.m. and then, maybe around 8, 9 p.m. we may see like another little downpour somewhere. But it's definitely not as bad as the morning. But watch Thursday. Thursday, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, going all the way to around 6 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about some more rainfall moving back into the state, again, causing some more morning activity, some more morning rain chaos throughout the state by around 5 o'clock, 6 a.m. or so. Not only throughout the Midlands, but all the way down towards the coastal areas as well. That goes through, here's 9 a.m., 10 a.m., through to noon to 1 o'clock p.m. on Thursday to 2 o'clock p.m. And now we're only just looking at dry conditions for the rest of Thursday. So we'll see what happens here, but it definitely does not look like it will be as active in the afternoons than it will be during the morning times. Morning times definitely seem to be the more active period of time. If we go on and look at the total QPF, so this is for like the next 48 hours or so, we're talking about around a good 0.2 of an inch, all the way up to around 0.4, 0.6 of an inch, all the way up to maybe even an inch in some spots. I mean, I even see down here in parts of the low country close to 2 inches. Will that happen? Honestly, it's really out there. It's really far out there. But if the right shower activity is in the right spot at the right time with the right intensity, you could see almost up to an inch or two of rainfall. And if we go to the official forecast from the National Weather Service right now for the next 24 hours have us in like this dome of around a tenth of an inch to around 0.2 of an inch or so. And that's what we're looking at in terms of our rainfall totals. But if we go on and look at the next 48 hours, they have us around 0.2, 0.3 of an inch, maybe 0.4 at the max, but it's not that high up there as some of the other models were just showing us. Now, if we go on and look at our long-term future, so this is past where we just were, we go through Thursday going into Friday, and we see some rainfall activity really start to push in as we get into Friday going into Saturday. And by the time we get to around Sunday, we're talking about rainfall activity continuing to move its way off towards the east, but there still will be some isolated potentially storm chance. I know it's around 150 hours out, but you never can rule anything out. Shower chances definitely as we go into like the early parts of the week next week. And then once we get to around Tuesday going into Wednesday, dry activity continues to just take over. But watch as we get into next weekend here on the 9th here, February. For some reason I'm looking at that 5 and thinking about February and 5, I guess, because they both start with F. But into May the 9th, we go all the way through, and we see a cold front move through. By the time we get into around that afternoon time, maybe late evening time, as we go into Saturday of next week, will that happen? It may, but for right now, we're still 200 to 300 hours out from that. And then as we move forward into the week after next week, we still are talking about some more dry conditions. So I will say, this rainfall activity that we are getting now is crucial. And it is crucial for a lot of reasons. Number one, because if you get this rainfall now, we can continue to trickle away at this drought. Because as I've been saying, we can't get rid of this drought all at one time. It's way past that time frame now. This drought is just too strong right now to go on and get rid of it at once. That, and then also, it just looks like the rainfall for the future is not looking as prominent as it once was. If we go on and look at the official total QPF for the next 300 to 400 hours or so, I mean, yeah, it still shows around an inch or two, but that's definitely not going to get rid of this drought quick enough. Still not going to get rid of this drought. In fact, most of the rainfall that you may see that's around an inch or two really only happens through Saturday. Watch the time frame for as we get from 99 hours all the way to 300 hours. You barely see a drop. I mean, yeah, you see some increases here and there, but you barely see a drop of rainfall as you continue through from 99 hours all the way to 384 throughout the state of South Carolina. So another dry patch, another dry period is potentially upon us after we get through the end of this week. So that's why I said rainfall now is crucial. Rainfall now is crucial. If we go on and look at the ensembles, see what they have to say. Ensembles obviously being the group of models that we look at, or the group of members that we look at from the GFS. But if you want to push it forward, the GFS is kind of saying almost the same thing. It has like a little bit more than what the deterministic was showing. The deterministic showed around 1 to 2 inches or so. The ensemble are showing more of an average of 2 to 3 inches, and it's more gradual, which is great. We want to see just gradual rainfall, not just one big system move through as we go throughout this week and then just completely dry out. We'll see which one happens, which one pans out the most. But the GEFS is definitely the one to watch for, and definitely the one to root for the most, if it's me. Because not only do we get more rainfall, but it happens more on a gradual time span. Now, if we go on and check out the temperatures as well, because temperatures, even though it may not have the most to do with the drought as much as rainfall has to do with it, it definitely could play a factor. If you go through all the way into the mid parts of the week, look at this cool air that we're getting from that cold front that just moved through. As we get through all the way through Thursday, getting into Friday, we're talking about another little cold system, a little cold front that may try to pop by as we get into tomorrow, as we get through Thursday or so. And this brings us some cool air, especially as we get towards this weekend. Look at this cool air. 15, 20, 25 degrees below average as we get into the day on Saturday, potentially. So pretty cold air is on the way. Not only for this weekend, but watch as we get into next week. Here we are Monday of next week. We are still talking about temperatures 5 to 10 degrees below average. We get into Tuesday, still below average. Yes, we get some warmer conditions as we get maybe into around Wednesday, going into Thursday, Friday or so. But watch this cold air that's going to try and move through again. This goes into next weekend, going into May the 9th, going into May the 10th. Watching out for some more cool air to move through 10 to 15 degrees below average. So yes, we do get some warm air a little bit as we go towards the middle to end parts of next week, but that's about it. And if we go on and look at our official temperatures, see what the temperatures have to look like. If we go through on Wednesday, obviously tomorrow, we already talked about those high temperatures, but I really want to watch for as we get later into this week. We're talking about high temperatures potentially on Saturday, being only inside of the 50s and 60s. So, again, Saturday could be pretty cool. Sunday comes along, we're still talking about temperatures only in the 60s, maybe some 70s here and there. Monday comes along, seeing some more 70s. Not the worst, maybe some 80s on Tuesday. Wednesday comes along, and then we start to get right back up to the 80s and maybe even some 90s as we go into next week, towards like the middle to end parts of next week. But watch as we get into that weekend, we're starting to see more temperatures trying to get up into like only the 70s, still some 60s, and maybe still some 50s. So a lot of things to really just get on, a lot of things to really just grasp and figure out what's going to happen. But I will say one thing is that the cold air is not done. The cold air is not done. Is freezing temperatures on the way? Absolutely not. We are done with freezing temperatures. Freezing temperatures are not going to be back until we get into late going into this year. So we're done with that. We don't have to worry about that. But if we continue through into around Friday, going into Saturday on the GEFS, this is the ensembles. The ensembles right now are showing more of a warm-up, obviously, as we get into the end parts of next week, but has that same cool down. Maybe not as cool, because it is an ensemble, but it does show definitely a decline in temperatures as you get into the week after. So that's all I have to say here. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris. He says, hello everyone, hope you had a great day. Well, I did, thank you so much for asking. Mount Lewis says, good evening everyone, good evening to you. Mr. Chris also says, got to around 80 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Then Mount Lewis says, prayfully, everyone had a wonderful day. I did, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, currently it's around 69. And then Mount Lewis says, today's high was around 73. Georgetown had a few showers as well. Currently it's 64 in Georgetown. Well, let me go in and check out my temperatures right now while we are here. Right now at my house, it is looking like it is currently 65 degrees, and the high temperature today was around 77. Continuing our way down, Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, share with everyone that you know. It's free to help the channel grow, absolutely. Really looking forward to this rain tomorrow. I am as well, especially, in the low country areas, more in the morning time than the afternoon. But rainfall is rainfall, so we're going to take it. We're going to take it either way. Speaking of, we've had 11 people tune in tonight, and we have 9 likes, so we're doing pretty well, but we still can get those likes up, so go and hit the like button if you have not already. Mount Lewis says, we did have a hit and miss shower. It did not last long at all. I had a little shower today where I was, but honestly, it wasn't really too bad. Wasn't really too bad at all. It's like a couple of raindrops that fell, and that's pretty much all you noticed. Then Mount Lewis says it was a little windy in Georgetown. All in all, it was a nice day. Well, continuing our way down, my nana says, hello, Jay. A really nice afternoon. It was cool this morning. Then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mount Lewis is looking forward to some more rain. They can keep the snow. I got no rain over here. And then as we continue our way down more, I'm looking forward to the warmer weather, but not too hot. Not too hot. Well, honestly, I mean, your best bet if you're not really looking for too hot of weather, but not too cool of weather, is just those time frames in between to where we're seeing temperatures up into the 80s or so, but not too in the 90s. So maybe like later going into like the next couple of days, but as we get into this weekend, obviously due to another cold front moving through, obviously it's going to be more cooler. And so those temperatures are only going to be up to the 60s and 70s. But then as soon as we're done with those temperatures, we're talking about some more 80s, but it's not going to be like staying in those 80s for long, because once we get into the end parts of next week, that's when we're talking about more 90s there. Exactly any chance that we need to take seriously. That says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. Well, good evening to you. I trust all is well. It was a very nice day here in San Antonio. I also got into my garage, cleared some things for recycle that I no longer needed. High temperature was around 91, but it really didn't feel like it. Then my Lewis said, I did see fire trucks today traveling up and down the Highway 701. And then Dad says clear skies and a light breeze was fantastic. I'm really hoping to get more rainfall this weekend. It would be a welcome surprise. Great dry day today on Thursday. I do need to do some outside work. And then maybe a cold front in May. Wow, yes. There is a cold front that will be moving through, obviously, in May, because it's moving through in the next couple of days. Hopefully you got the reference there. But if we go on and look at the short range forecast right now, the NDFD, and see what their forecast shows in terms of the cold front, you definitely can see. Hold on, let me go on and make this to where you can see this. But if we go on and look at the official short-range forecast, you can see this is Wednesday 18Z. This is going into Wednesday night, going into Thursday morning. We're seeing a cold front move its way through. Then as we get into like later Thursday morning, like late morning, early afternoon, there goes the cold front moving its way down throughout the state. And we're talking about rainfall activity as we go into the state here, with thunderstorm activity as well. So yes, cold front moving through as we go into Wednesday night, going into Thursday. And then, hope we get a good steady rain. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. And then, thank goodness for no more freezing temperatures. The fire department was quiet today. And then that says currently it's around 84 degrees right now. Currently 84. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for where you are. And wait, currently it's 84 degrees. I just realized what you just said. That's already, I mean, that's pretty warm for you, 8:27 p.m. But I guess y'all over there in Texas, so things are a bit different over there, obviously, than it is over here. So, speaking of Texas, let's go on and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 4 areas outside of South Carolina. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, like Thad, in San Antonio, which this is the current forecast for San Antonio right now. Starting off with your forecast, it does look like right now that you are seeing low temperatures tonight at 75. High temperature for tomorrow, 91. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 70. Precipitation not expected for tonight, but tomorrow there is a chance of thunderstorms, and then tomorrow night there is a slight chance of thunderstorms as well. Now, in terms of your severe weather for your excessive rainfall, right now it's looking like that you do have a risk of isolated severe weather tonight, even though you have no chance of rainfall for tonight. It's just the same kind of weird thing with the National Weather Service and the SPC Outlook about how they both have their models a bit different. But the main thing is that for right now, it's looking like that you do have a risk for tomorrow. Isolated tornadoes, isolated damaging winds, and isolated damaging hail. But the thing is with the hail is potentially some of that hail could potentially be of up to 2 inches in diameter. So that's something really interesting to pay attention to, just to make sure that if you have to protect that vegetation outside, obviously, so it doesn't get hail damage or anything like that, that's obviously something to think about as you go into tomorrow. And Thursday, same thing. Thursday, you also have another risk of severe weather as well. So not the worst, only a marginal, but like I said earlier, we take every risk here seriously. In terms of excessive rainfall for you, right now it does look like that you are not in the clear. Tomorrow you have isolated flash flooding that's possible. Thursday, isolated flash flooding. Friday, isolated flash flooding. So we're going to be talking about that for a good little bit. For you over there. Then for your future, it does look like right now that you will continue to stay cooling down. I mean, we're talking about Thursday 84, Friday 77, Saturday 71. But then you'll start warming back up as you get into next week. Sunday, things take a turn for the better as you're talking about high temperatures on like Tuesday of next week being around 88 degrees. Then what about for Raleigh? Low temperatures tonight at 56, high temperatures for tomorrow at 74, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 57. Showers are expected tomorrow, but tomorrow night there is a chance of showers and storms as you get into tomorrow night. Severe weather for you, it does look like that you do have a chance of severe weather for tomorrow. Tomorrow, isolated tornadoes are possible, isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour, and isolated hailstones of up to an inch is possible as you go throughout tomorrow. So make sure that you are aware. No excessive rainfall for you, though. For your future, it does look like that you will have kind of like that more cooling down pattern as well. Even though it did look like that you would be kind of in the 70s for a good little bit. As you get more into this weekend going into next week, you're going to start cooling down to the 60s. But kind of like San Antonio, once you get into next week, things are going to start warming up. 74 on Monday, 78 on Tuesday. It also does look like it will be a bit of a rainy weekend as well, at least Friday and Saturday. Sunday doesn't look too bad. Then for Philadelphia, low temperatures tonight at 50, high temperature for tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 51. Showers are possible tomorrow, but tomorrow night showers are expected. Yes, showers are expected as you get into tomorrow night, so make sure that you are aware of that. In terms of your excessive rainfall risk, it does look like that you are also in the clear here. And then in terms of severe weather, you do not have a risk, yet you do have a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. For your future, obviously we know it's going to be raining tomorrow night, and then potentially even on Thursday. Friday, maybe another chance. But once you get past Friday, looks like it is dry land at that point. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, no chance of rainfall. Temperatures will be continuing to kind of be on the decline. We're talking about high temperatures on Saturday being around 59. Then once you get to around Tuesday, same thing as San Antonio and Raleigh, just continuing to warm up. Then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 49, high temperature for tomorrow at 69, then low temperatures tomorrow night at 52. Precipitation not expected to around Thursday. Severe weather, excessive rainfall for you. It does look like right now that you are mostly in the clear. I mean, you have some risks that are pretty close. Thursday, like just to the south of you by probably 10, 15 miles or so. Isolated flash flooding is possible, so we'll see if that expands over to you. I would not be surprised since it is such a small area. But other than that, I mean, severe weather, you're pretty much completely in the clear. No severe weather, no fire weather, no excessive rainfall, so you're good. For your future, though, it will be a rainy, kind of like rainy Thursday, rainy Friday, but then once you get towards the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, no chance of rainfall. Monday night, 20% chance of showers and storms, but after that, you're done. And then after that, that's all that I have to really say here that's all I have to say here in terms of the entire 4 areas outside of South Carolina and just South Carolina in general. But one more thing, let's see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. What's going on in terms of severe weather, like multiple rounds of strong to severe storms may produce very large hail, swaths of damaging wind gusts, and a few tornadoes, and heavy rainfall with flash flooding across parts of Texas into the lower Mississippi and Tennessee valleys. Gusty winds and damaging or in dry conditions as well will continue to promote elevated to critical fire weather conditions across the southern high plains as well. There is some frost that will be ongoing, Nebraska, Kansas, some freezing going on a bit more in the west and the Rockies. But after that, that's about it. There is a red flag warning up here inside of northeastern New York and northwestern Vermont, but that's the only other thing here. So let's go on and check my email real quick. Did I get any sort of pictures tonight? Seems like I did not. If you want to go in and send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. And then also on Twitter at 360_weather. Top fans of the night for tonight. Nothing for tonight, but always be ready for anything. Be ready for anything. Because I can always just pop in a little question real quick and give out some extra points. Extra 3. So, we'll see. We will see. Could be tomorrow, could be Thursday, could be next week, Wednesday. We don't know. Just got to see when it happens. But let me go ahead and count it out real quick. We have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then I say around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I think it was a tie for tonight. And then let me count up 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, seemed like it was a tie for tonight. 9, I'm making sure real quick that I did not count something incorrectly. 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep, so it was a tie for tonight. But Mr. Chris was here first, so he gets it for tonight. Mount Lou's at number 2, and then Thad's at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. Remember, if you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Also being here early, 9 o'clock. And being a subscriber, because if you're not a subscriber, well, you can't talk. And also being active. So let's go ahead and give them 3 a round of applause. But that's all that I can see here. So I will be back tomorrow morning for your Wednesday morning forecast update. Also tomorrow evening for your Wednesday evening forecast update. As well as we will be halfway through the week tomorrow. So that's something good to look at. Also Thursday evening drought monitor coming out. Pretty interested to see what that one looks like with all this rainfall that we're getting. And then Also, Friday will be the month of May forecast. Friday will be the month of May, Friday evening. So make sure that you are aware and there for that. But I will be back tomorrow morning. Make sure that you're there and hit those two buttons before you leave. 731 subscribers, trying to get to 800.